In this video, I'll talk about how to depolarize yourself and why this is one of the most important things to learn in life and for manifestation and for your own personal and spiritual growth. So to explain depolarization, I will first explain polarity and also what being polarized means. So polarities are everywhere. So it's basically light and dark, up and down, masculine, feminine. It can also be beliefs. You believe that personality is fixed, or you believe that personality is something that you can completely change, or maybe also certain characteristics. Maybe you are more a rational person, or maybe you are more an emotional person, more introverted, more extroverted. All these things are polarities. They are certain energies, and you can see the one side and then the other side. Also, polarities could be in politics, so the left and the right. You know, Democrats and Republicans, also a polarity. So what being polarized then means is that you are basically stuck in one side of the polarity, and usually that is due to identification with that side, and that you kind of think that that is like the better side. Of course, you can see that very clearly in certain politics. But it's also on a belief level, like I just said. You maybe believe, yeah, personality is fixed. This is just who I am. And then you're stuck, you're polarized. And then when somebody else who maybe has the different viewpoint tells you, no, it's something you can completely change, you will feel a certain reaction. There will be a certain resistance to that. You will feel that that person is wrong and that you are right. And that's also a polarity. Being wrong or being right. Also a polarity. Being very heavily identified with something that you are. You are, a certain boss babe. That can be like a polarity. Maybe you look down on women who are, more feminine and considered weak in your eyes. Or maybe as a man, try to be a very hyper masculine, and that's the only way you can exist, but you don't integrate your feminine sides. That can also be due to polarization. So what I'm trying to say is that this is an energy, so you can feel it in your body. Next time you're having a discussion with somebody, try to notice it. Oh, you have a different viewpoint than this person on how to do business, on how to practice health. There's a lot of people in health that are very polarized. No, this is the right way to do the diet. And they're really identified with that. And if you challenge them, they get angry, like, no, you're wrong. That's what they say. But the thing is that they're not really open-minded because they're so identified with this side of the polarity. So that is what being polarized means. So what does it mean to become more and more depolarized? It basically means when you feel that charge in your body, when you feel, oh wait, I am identifying more with this side of reality, this side of the argument. It has a certain energy, you can feel it. Then you try to be present, you observe that, and then you start to look at the other person's viewpoint, being more neutral. You could also say choosing the middle path, not only the light, not only the dark. You choose the middle path. And in occult teachings, you also have this thing called the left-hand path and the right-hand path. And the left-hand path is called the path of severity, which basically means to sever from. And it also means setting intention, taking action. It's kind of like a Mars energy, taking action. Also more mercurial, so it's more rational thinking. It's a bit more, you could say, masculine in a sense. And then there's nuances to that, but just to keep it simple. Then the other side is the right-hand path, which is more, yes, they call it the pillar of mercy. So you let things be. Like it's in the name, I give mercy. You let it be. So you let things go. You let things unfold. And these two energies are very powerful to balance, because when you balance them both, you enter what they call the middle path, the middle way, where you integrate them both, and then your energy is more neutral. And when energy is more neutral, you are much more powerful in manifesting and creating the life that you want, and in general just living a good life, because in that state you're much more flexible, you're much more open-minded, you can actually look at reality more clearly, because you're not identified with one side, you're not identified with team A or team red, how I sometimes call it, team red or team blue. Which one do you choose? Are you pro-Palestine or pro-Israel? Which camp do you choose? Are you pro-Russia or pro-Ukraine? Are you a Democrat or a Republican? Are you this LGBTQ type, or are you like red pill? You know, all these different divisions and different teams that, in a sense, existence is creating. Sometimes you could also say that they are being created on purpose, like little football teams to clash against each other in little games that in the end don't matter so much. So when you can transcend these games, it's like becoming aware that there's a chessboard. And you could also see that, you know, on the chessboard it's like black and white squares. So this is also polarity, that you can transcend polarity. Then you're more non-dual, so you're more depolarized. And then from that place, this is much more a powerful state to manifest from, because yeah, you could say it is more close to, you know, creation energy, unmanifested creation energy that you can then direct into certain endeavors, and also not lose so much energy on things that don't really matter, and also learn exponentially, because you're not so close-minded. You're not, oh, I'm holding on to this belief or this way of doing things. Let's say you are more a structured person, and you always, when you set a goal, you're very structured in your approach and plan, and when you set the goal, you already, you know, think all these steps ahead. And then maybe there's another person who does things very intuitive and really sees that, oh, you have to go with the flow, not plan so much. So both of these energies are very valuable if you can integrate them both. Or also when maybe you are, let's say you are that very structured person, then it's maybe, yeah, like a very valuable thing, or I know it's a valuable thing to then go into the other side. Experience more of letting go and going with the flow, and maybe changing the plan just based on inspiration and what you feel like doing. And that can then, in a certain other way, yield better results. Because when you're very structured, you're maybe a little bit more narrow-minded, focused. And when you're more in the letting go, maybe certain avenues open where things become much more easy. The other side would maybe be somebody that always goes with the flow, and he's always, or she is always like, yeah, I just let go and things just happen, and I just follow my intuition, and no, I'm not gonna think rationally, and no habits, no, it's just going with the flow. And this person basically ends up doing nothing and just wasting their time. And of course sometimes they also have the benefits, but what I'm trying to say is that yeah, that can also have drawbacks if you're more into that extreme or in this extreme, so you can balance it more. Or when you are more naturally going towards this direction, maybe at a certain point in your life, it's maybe better to do the other side, because that's where the growth lies. This is how growth occurs, between you are already doing this and then you grow into something new, into a new energy. And yeah, let me think why this is also really valuable is that you're not so easily manipulated and controlled by the world, by other people in your life, but also the news, certain social engineers that have all kinds of nice stories to get you into a certain identity, a certain camp. And then from that place, you're very easily manipulated to take certain actions, to be a good person, to do all these things, and to not rebel against unjust authority, for example. And it's also just an art. So I could also touch on that point. Yeah, when you're more depolarized, you can also embody certain polarities much more efficiently and then go into them and really experience them, but not from a place of being so rigid and stuck. Because that's what usually creates all the problems in our life. That we're very rigid and stuck. And then, you have more this flexibility. And then your manifestations are more powerful. You're more relaxed. You're more non-dual. Yeah, it's really, also you could say presence. And like I said before, that's more close to our natural state, you could say, where there is this potential of something that can still become. Being open-minded to new perspectives and not clinging out of fear to certain things, certain beliefs, because this is what often happens. This is why why we cling to certain polarities or certain energies, certain identities, because it gives us a feeling of safety or belonging to the group. But it's also the way that we limit ourselves. And then finding that middle path is something that really truly enhances your life, and you can really reach the next level in your personal spiritual growth and the things you want to create in your life, and also manifest on a higher level. So if you have any questions about the things discussed in this video, then make sure to put them in the comments below. And if you want more videos like this, of course, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. That really helps the channel out. And then also, if you look into the description, there's also a guide on how to create symbols for manifestation. So it's basically a powerful occult technique that you can use today to start manifesting something in your life. And you can use certain symbolism and a certain symbol that you charge with your intention and meaning and energy to make a powerful imprint on your subconscious, and then it can manifest in your life. So if you want that guide, then make sure to press the link in the description. So that's all for this video, and have a great day.